What's going on? It's Darius York here from Sauna, where we give you the systems so you can scale. Okay, guys, this is a super simple one today. How to turn your ecosystem into only qualified buyers. Okay, I'm getting on a lot of calls every single day, and I want to address some of the main bottlenecks that I'm seeing genuinely across the market so you guys can have those consistent high quality means continuously coming in, as you can see, of people who are actually qualified, have real budgets, and can actually go through qualifications, right? Setting this up in a way so you have real scale and real freedom, right? I've been traveling most of this year, and our team and our business is continuing to scale without me. So I'm no longer the bottleneck, and predictable revenue is rolling in consistently month after month. Okay. Now, the number one problem across the board, right? And again, everyone is in different spots, right? But the number one problem across the boards, you get leads, but the quality is shit. One in maybe 10 people or greater are actually qualified to buy. Right now, we've really been honing in on the B2B business funding niche and the credit repair niche because it's so easy for you guys to tweak a couple things, go upstream, and just collect cash extremely fast. And those are the systems and the little things you need to implement now that I want to break down in this video so you have a good understanding of the systems at their core and what is pushing, some of our partners over that 100K a month mark. Okay. Now, what tends to happen with these shit leads is this longer cash collected and buying cycle, right? So you need constant volume, right? So you got past the grunt work of where you generate enough capital to maybe, go ahead and get ads going and start scaling, VAs and setters. And you guys are already doing, 10, 15, 20, 30K a month consistently, maybe even more like 50, 60K, right? But you've become capped in one, the type of lead that's coming in, like lead quality is continuously diminishing across the market. Even if you're talking to these other marketing companies and these other lead source and lead vendors, you're going to buy just stepped on leads, which is no fun at all, right? Or you're really having to just chase people down for 5, 6, 7 months while they fix their credit and get ready for funding, right? So you need constant volume to have consistent, predictable revenue, right? And so again, the outcome that I'm really seeing is going on right now in the market is, like I said, unpredictable lead quality, unprofitable ROAS, return on ad spend, and no real way to go upstream consistently and predictably. Okay, and again, those are the systems I'm about to dive into today on this video, right? And again, everything I'm talking about is what we dive into on that personalized game plan. Some people that are getting this asset right now have already booked a call, and I'm just breaking down the systems at its core so you have a good understanding of what it looks like as far as this game plan goes, so we can really get a good feel of where you're at. And if you haven't booked in the game plan call, right, go ahead and do that. Comment or DM game plan in our uh, you know, IG, just message us, whatever. Super easy, and we'll hop on a call and dive into these exact systems I'm going to break down today and what you need to implement now to get results fast. Okay, so what is the solution if you're ready to go upstream, only talk to qualified leads every single day, and you're ready to really scale this thing? Okay, it's really just, guys, it's not complicated, right? Let's not overthink this because there are people in your space, in your business probably, doing over $5, $10 million in funding every single month, right? Walking away with a really nice payday at the end of the day, right? It's just one strong acquisition engine to put you on track for 6 figures a month, okay? Now, at its core, it's these three levers: ads, inbound, and outbound. At its core, from just a marketing perspective, right? Now, what that looks like, so we can just do a further level deep dive here. Okay, guys. So at its core, you got the inbound and the outbound stuff. Yes, you're going to be scaling with referrals and funnel opt-in. That's going to be the inbound side of things, right? But we have the content assets and we have the outbound from DMs, emails, cold calls, and then as well the ad stuff. Okay. Now we need to set this up into where, again, you are generating and creating your own ecosystem of nothing but qualified buyers. right, guys? And so again, at its core, the things we need to implement is one, on the outbound side of things. How can we make sure we're talking to nothing but qualified, targeted leads, tracking those KPIs, and addressing the bottlenecks that are arising over there, and rolling those all back in to the content assets on the inbound side of things, right? Creating a real feedback loop of this upstream marketing message that, again, I'm going to dive into the step-by-step process of what it looks like at its core, very just black and white, okay? But I want you guys to, like, you're not dumb. You're making sales. You already have motion. We just need to refine this ecosystem you've already created. Okay, guys? Now, a lot of you are in this place with ads where you have tried ads and ads have not become profitable. So as you know, there's two ways to run ads, direct and indirect. Okay. Now, direct is going to be where you're doing like the messenger and lead ad formula, where you're pushing people to either talk to you in the DMs and you need to run them through a high performing setting process. Again, some systems that we've refined that I'm going to dive into and how you can implement them now. Or you're collecting info and you're calling these leads based on what they put into, your landing page, their qualification questions, credit score, things like that. But still, low-hanging fruit gets through the crack on those. Okay, and as well on the indirect side of things, the follower ad formula, right? Like maybe you guys are pushing people to follow your page and you have the content assets and you're just setting people as they follow you, right? Which is a strategy we have run in this market as well. It really depends on where your business is at foundationally. Again, another kind of bonus thing we dive into in this free game plan. It's like, okay, where's your business actually at, and which method is going to work for you, your business, and what actual systems and operating procedures do you need at its core to turn this thing into a cash cow, right? We have all of those procedures dialed. Don't want to bore you guys with this. I do want to show you some results from the ads. This is one of our companies in the Netherlands, right? Doing the same type of offer. When they came on, they were getting one purchase, like so one person to really like click, sign up, get to a booked call for $272. All we did was retarget some things. We generated 184 leads with a new marketing message completely upstream for $1.16 off the rip. Optimize that to where they're getting about $5 per cost per lead that's opting in with qualified information. I can genuinely say about 75% of these people were qualified for this offer, but this was a unicorn, full transparency. This is a unicorn. Average cost per acquisition in qualified lead we're seeing right now in the market is around that $45 to $50 mark. Sometimes a little lower, around like 30, 35, but really that 30 to 50 range is that sweet spot for consistent qualified deals. Okay, I mean, we're going to talk through some conversion mechanisms to speed up your guys' sales cycle since it tends to be a little longer, right? And how we can use all of these processes to build this ecosystem of nothing but qualified followers, okay, and buyers, right? So the core drivers that will help you go, okay, the core drivers are going to help you genuinely retarget messaging upstream fast, okay, launch profitable ads, and implement a consistent and predictable high performing acquisition source, right? And so that's what, again, I'm going to be breaking down here within these next couple slides. I really want to dive into first the fastest way you can get results now. I talked to someone recently that just spent over 100K in ad spend, only got back 120K. And he said after everything was said and done, he didn't even walk away with barely any profit. So there's two spots we're left in. One, we need to optimize these ads, the messaging, and where you're at and the type of leads that are coming in, right? And again, I'm going to go into how we can track that actual data. But that means he has a shit ton of leads. He's booking over 200 to 250 calls a month consistently. So it means we have a lot of leads that need to get smacked. So let's run a proper re-nurture. This is going to get you results extremely fast and just continue to like weed out the people who can be serious sooner, right? Because we can't forget that all these leads that you do have, even if you haven't talked to them in a month, 2 months, maybe, yeah, ideally they need to be getting nurtured so they're getting their credit right, everything in order, so they can come and like you're staying top of mind and they're going to buy from you. They will buy from you, right? So we need to implement this contact plan and to-do list for all of these leads at its core. We need to be able to lean back on systems, guys. We got to be able to lean back on systems, not like okay, this lead, I'm gonna just reach out to them, in a week or 2 weeks, to see where they're at. No, there needs to be an actual operating procedure for, okay, this lead is in this bucket with these type of pain points, and this is their contact plan and to-do list until the next time we talk. And then we're following up with leads, putting them through email and SMS sequences, staying top of mind, giving them a to-do list so that these people can start moving down the funnel faster, and you can increase your sales cycle, right, with these clients that are coming on board. Okay. The outcome of this, like I was talking about, lower costs. So companies that are killer at lead nurturing generate 50% more ready leads at a 33% lower cost. So instead of scaling more ads, okay, if only 1 out of 30 people are buying, those other 29 people, we can push 5 more people over the edge within the next 7 to 14 days with a proper re-nurture, contact plan, and to-do list, guys. Guys, it's simple systems that we just need to implement that can get you results really fast. Another outcome is higher conversion rates. So nurtured leads have a 50% higher chance of converting to customers and make 47% bigger purchases on average. So the LTV of nurtured clients is so much greater, guys. It's so much greater. It's been a game changer in our business recently. Like seriously, like this is the sauce. And it's a shorter sales cycle, like I was speaking on. So nurtured leads move through the sales cycle 23% faster than non-nurtured leads, right? So again, if we don't have the proper drip sequences and pace, the amount of value actually being packed into these, dense emails that should be going out to these people, and a, and a proper to-do list and follow-up campaign, then these people are falling through the cracks and they're getting hit with someone else's ads with a new marketing strategy. And now, again, you're still going to consistently generate just low hanging fruit, which you don't need to stay in that same sales cycle. And that's why you feel like probably lead quality has just been gradually diminishing, right? This is one thing you can do now to just help everything at its core. Really focus on the back end selling mechanisms, right? And this alone will increase your sales opportunities because nurtured leads produce 20% more sales opportunities compared to non-nurtured leads, right, guys? So these people that have spent time with you, gone through your whole process, the upsells, the downsells, gotten nurtured, you've given them a bunch of value, they are way more likely to refer people, which are the easiest sales ever. Referrals spread faster, testimonies grow faster, and it feeds this ecosystem of qualified buyers. Okay, guys, I hope you're seeing how this ecosystem is just consistently, like it can consistently and predictably like start to like have things compound in your favor in the right direction, collect cash predictably each month, right? Again, these same systems I'm talking about are exactly what we do for ourselves and implement into all of our partners that come on board. Okay. Now, some simple tweaks to just improve lead quality at its core. Messaging. Okay. Complete just upstream optimization from the content assets, ads, and the outbound leads, and the qualification processes, right? So what am I talking about when I keep saying like let's optimize the marketing message, let's position you upstream already, right? So if you haven't done this, please do it now. Okay, this is a KPI that a lot of these top dogs are doing and addressing, and it's why they're moving so fast upstream, right? List out the top 4 sectors because in the business funding space, and I'm sure for your niche as well, with if you don't sell business funding or credit repair, your product or service can work across multiple niches and for multiple different people. List out your top 4 sectors that have gotten the best results from your product and service and the exact ICP of your desired lead, right? So what is that exact person down to, how much they do a month, how long their business has been open, excuse me, to what are the movers and the pain points of that audience that's upstream, not the people that you don't want to talk to, right? So like what are the actual movers of these people that are already at the position that you want to talk to, and what sectors are they in? Guys, that alone will help us redial in the marketing message at its core Because now, okay, let's say it's medical practices, doctors, they get the best results, they onboard the fastest, they already have good credit, they know they need money to expand the practice and get new equipment, right? These are the people we want to talk to. So we need to start talking to their pain points, right? So if we retarget the messaging upstream, get everything in congruence from the funnel to the landing page copy to your bio copy, this now can feed the ecosystem of this qualified buyers where the content assets are aligned upstream, and you'll be able to start disqualifying people before they even get into the funnel, because that's not even the person you're talking to anymore, right? And either way, you guys should be tracking this data religiously, because this will help you just a ton. And the outcome of this, again, like I was saying, you're going to disqualify low-hanging fruit before they even come in. Your feedback loop of refinement will now be incorporated into your business. So there's no more stagnation in this feeling like lead quality is diminishing, because you are gradually ascending upstream as you're gathering this intel from this new repositioned marketing message, right? So you're going to continuously optimize and refine. It's a false paradigm if you think that you can launch one funnel and one ad campaign, not do anything, and print the highest quality leads in the market. Guys, it's such a sophisticated market we operate in now, where so many people are running ads that it's evolving daily, weekly, monthly, at a faster rate than ever. And you have to position your business in the way to collect these leads that are coming, right? And go ahead and position your business upstream so you can get the proper flow that you need to, right? Now, the next thing we need to dial in, guys, is the content assets. The content assets are going to be one of the main drivers of why probably lead quality shit, in full transparency. Okay. And I'm going to talk about how the feedback loop works for that. The next thing we're going to have to dial in is the ad optimization, right? Because, okay, with this marketing messaging now being dialed, right, and we're disqualifying low hanging fruits, the content assets should be positioned, again, upstream, only talking to those people with the right hooks, the marketing message, talking about the right pain points of people that are within the buckets that you want to talk to. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Ad optimization, we're going to do the same thing, but with the ads, right? Instead of running like broad targeting to these ads, what Facebook really cares about now to get good results, and genuinely I can say works extremely well, is get super refined into your detailed targeting. If you know exactly the person you want to talk to, you can put this detailed targeting into Facebook's parameters, into your hooks, your messaging, your body, the copy on the ads, the landing pages on the ads, the form qualification on the ads, and you can pretty much guarantee that you will 100% get a profitable ROAS and get only qualified people coming through, right? Again, it feeds the ecosystem perfectly when you do everything foundationally at its core. Okay, and then the outbound stuff, right? Because we had, okay, content assets are the inbound, ads, and then the outbound, the three levers we need at its core for you to do over 6 figures a month profitably. And each one needs to be dialed in and refined, right? The outbound leads. The outbound leads, you don't need to be shooting a shotgun and just spraying and praying and like, you've tried, Meta and LinkedIn, X, even TikTok, right? And it's a lot of just B2C, low hanging credit people, and you don't really know how to go upstream. Maybe you got Sales Navigator for LinkedIn, right? But you don't really know how to go upstream as far as outbound goes. Okay. So one thing cool that we've done here at Sauna is all of our partners have the ability to have access to our software. As you can see in this software, it's nothing but qualified targeted leads. It's not going to pause for me, is it? But are these people are like segmented down into just specifically people that fit our qualification and parameters based on our ideal lead that I was talking about. Again, if you haven't jotted down those top 4 sectors, then how do you even where are you even sending outbound messages to? Is it just it can't be broad. It needs to be super dialed and super targeted, so you know that predictably every single day and consistently every single day you are putting your offer and what you have to sell in the market in front of people who can actually buy. That's what this is about at its core, right? So like I said, one thing cool here at Saulna we do is we give all of our partners access to our software. The software spits them out around 500 to 1,000 of the most targeted leads within those sectors that they really want to go after, right? And we've dialed in their marketing message, positioned them upstream. Now, as we go to do outbound, content assets are aligned and ads are aligned. So when we go to speak to our audience, they come click back on the profile. They are now getting properly nurtured and have the right touch points to turn into a booked meeting and an actual qualified buyer, right? Because the content assets, the ads, this will do all the disqualifying of these low-hanging fruits for you when you reposition yourself properly in the market, okay? And now when you launch outbound on that, you're just throwing consistent fuel on the fire. Because think about it. If outbound leads are coming and clicking on your profile, watching your assets, that means they're now going to get starting to get hit with the ads. And if you're yelling at those upstream pain points and upstream problems, talking to that upstream audience, guys, this is where things get special. All right. And I hope that makes sense. Now, the next thing we have to dial in, because as you can see, if people are booking in from ads, depending upon where you run the follower or the follower ad strategy or the direct strategy, sending people to your messaging box, you're collecting info, and you're even doing outbound, right? And inbound. Again, this is another step in the process we have to dial. You have to run them through a high performing setting process. That is next. Because if you're not pulling out real urgency and building pain and building desire and figuring out if these leads are qualified before you're getting on these sales calls, you're wasting your own time or your sales rep's time or the company you're outsourcing to's time. And these people aren't converting, and you're putting them through this long ass sales cycle, hopefully hoping one day that they will convert. No, right? Run them through a high performing setting process, talk to upstream leads, reposition your business, and only close qualified deals consistently, daily, weekly, monthly, like forever, right? Everything I'm talking about here today, so you guys know, we do break down on the game plan, but all systems, if this is making sense with you and it clicks, everything is done completely in-house as far as system implementation, whole 9 yards. If you stay around to the end, I'm going to keep diving into the systems we even implement into all of our partners to make sure that you are already positioned upstream with speed. Okay, guys? But I really do hope this is making sense, because the outcome here will be pain will be established, urgency built. You'll have nothing but serious buyers. Okay, and you must track KPIs daily if you want to push through that plateau your business is at. You have to do that. So some of the easiest ways that we've seen to just track KPIs daily, I'm sure you have a team already, VA, setter. If not, it's you. Then you need to be doing the KPI tracking, because you need to address your own bottlenecks and be able to like work on the business as well as in it. It sucks, but sometimes upfront you do have to do that. It's part of the grind. Entrepreneurship is not easy, right? So the easiest way we've seen is a Google form that connects to a Google Sheet on the back end, and on that Google Sheet, it tracks all KPIs, and it can, if you do it right, you can put through end-to-end flow that starts to address the bottlenecks that are occurring from everything that you're running right now. So beginning of day form, we use this for our team and ourselves to just make sure we know what we need to do each day. Google form, and an end of day report, right? Name, date, their role if you have a team, and then you're tracking, positive replies, how many leads were tagged, how many people got the pitch, how many people opted in from content assets, how many closing calls were booked, right? So we can see, okay, this worked on this day. These were the opening messages from an outbound standpoint. These were the ads. These were the main conversion mechanisms from this day. These are the best leads opting in. These are the main pain points. We can start tracking real data. And you don't need to overcomplicate this, right? And even down to an end of sales calls report. Because again, guys, this is how you start to create the feedback loop based on the new data of your repositioning upstream. And if you're not already doing this, I can probably say this is why you're still stuck getting bullshit leads. All right. So the end of the sales call report, okay, you're tracking the lead, you're plugging in the recording link of that meeting. their follow-up call date. So you can now set up automations off of that and their main pain points. So we can now, again, plug this back into the feedback loop of the curation of this ecosystem. So content assets, marketing message, and everything continues to get refined and optimized at a high level, right? And that leads me naturally, like I've been kind of talking about, into the feedback loop that gets created, right? So like I was saying, use Fathom to record sales calls, gather intel on winning angles and common objections within the sales calls and the DMs from this repositioning upstream. And honestly, from the stuff that you're seeing that, of the leads you don't want to talk to either, right? That way you can stop talking about that. And you can go ahead and fully move your business to only capture the people that will consistently buy and can afford your high ticket offer, right? So if you aren't doing this, make sure you are. After every 5 sales calls, do this. Start a chat. So within ChatGPT, you can have folders and different like conversations, right? Plug in one prompt into a specific chat folder that just stores all of this data. So now you basically have your own kind of AI business kind of feedback bot created. And be like, hey chat, I want you to create a feedback loop of my last 5 sales calls and note the most common objections my audience is giving me. List them from most common to not, as well turn them into hooks I can use for my content based upon my business and offer. So guys, if you plug this in with the new marketing message that's positioning you already upstream, this will help you consistently refine and optimize and continue to get nothing but the most qualified people coming into your ecosystem. Okay? And like I said, you're going to turn these into assets, and this is the curation of the ecosystem. Now, some simple tweaks to speed up the sales cycle was like I broke down earlier. Re-nurture, like there needs to be real operating procedures around re-nurture, their contact plan, how you're following up with leads, and a to-do list for these leads, right? So emails, warm dials, right? I know, guys, I don't know if you're still taking your sales calls or not, but you need to have a warm dialer in there to implement all of these levers effectively in full transparency. When these people are booking these calls or giving you their numbers through the DMs, you should have either you or someone speed to lead, calling these people, qualifying them, and putting them in the right buckets so you can send them the right targeted assets so they get on the sales call ready to buy, right? If people are getting on these calls with you and they're not even ready to purchase, you're doing a full discovery and you're realizing like, okay, it's probably a month honestly until you get funding. Like that, in my opinion, was a waste of time, that hour, that day, when you could have just warmed out them, done a discovery, go ahead and be like, okay, what I'm gonna do is I want to follow up in 2 weeks. I'm gonna give you a to-do list to do within these 2 weeks. If you do this, we'll be able to reach your goals extremely fast, right? Boom, to-do list. And again, now you're doing all these nurture mechanisms and conversion mechanisms on the back end sales process that will actually turn these people into qualified buyers so they can convert straight up, right? No lead goes lost. And you're only hopping on calls with qualified people if you are taking all the sales calls. Okay. Now, a level deeper, like, okay, at its core, those are all the mechanisms you need to implement to really push yourself and position yourself upstream in this market to generate nothing but an ecosystem of qualified buyers, like ready to buy when they get on the sales call. Okay. Now, a level deeper bottlenecks that will arise is just systems. Like I've been stressing on it a bit, as you can see in this video, but real operating procedures at its core, so you have systems you can lean on and not just hearsay, right? Where you're spraying with a shotgun, but actual like a laser targeted focus, like a sniper, down to the re-nurture, the content asset this person's going to get, to the ad optimizations, the hooks that are winning, the angles that are winning, right? What you're actually going to be addressing as you move and start working on the business instead of in it, right? So systems that we give to all of our partners that onboard is somewhere where you can really start delegating and automating and leaning back on operating procedures, right? So this is kind of what a back-end framework looks like for us. You need to have your offer and ICP completely dialed, positioned already upstream to the people you want to target, and your backstory and branding of why you're credible in that market to talk to them. That is everything. Like people nowadays, like it is like the market in general whichever niche you're in, has its level of saturation. And so you need to have your own unique selling propositions, conversion mechanisms, and proper processes that align with your business so you can build this real ecosystem like I'm talking about. You need to have your ad operating procedures down to the hooks, the opt-in automations, the qualifications they're going through. Like, again, refining it so you know the winning copy, the winning ads, and everything. So this ecosystem can gradually ascend you upstream and you can create your own market. Like, you really can. You really can, guys. Down to the appointment setters. They have their scripts, their structures, their setter processes, their KPI tracking, their important links. In this structures for the appointment setters, they have their warm dial scripts. The closers have their scripts. They have the whether it's a lead magnet or an inbound or a cold outbound, they have their scripts, and you can lean back on real operating procedures based on what you've seen winning. So you can start to implement predictable and consistent acquisition levers at its core, right? You have your outbound operating procedures, you have your sales closer operating procedures if you're scaling that, down to the scripts, right? Like I said, a level deeper, you have all of the scripts and structures, so there is complete congruence for your brand and for you to scale and you to start onboarding talent and really start flooding this thing out with qualified buyers. Lean back on systems. This is a bottleneck you have to address. And as you start to scale, I'm sure you've already handled it, but it's team management, accountability, addressing KPIs, knowing what bottlenecks your company is actually at, whether that's the positive messages, the opening messages, the positive conversational workflows. We're not taking out enough pain, right? We have to track those KPIs and you need to know how. So this is, information we give to everyone that onboards so they are up to speed and they increase the level of their awareness within inside their own business, right? As well as like the content scale, right? The curation of the targeted assets. You need to know which inbound strategy you're going to be using, right? Is it the curiosity? Is it the credibility driven framework? Is it the engagement driven framework, right? Is the story post, like, are you doing daily story posts to nurture the people that are following you if you're running follower ads, right? And which framework are you using when and why, right? Is the curiosity driven, credibility driven, engagement driven, right? And what it looks like to do that at a really high level. And even down to the VSL frameworks so you can reposition your complete business upstream. And then, as you guys already probably know, like hiring good talent. Okay, I can talk about getting a warm dialer. I can talk about doing outbound, right? Again, as a business owner, you should not be the one doing these low leverage activities. For us and all the partners that work with us, we have a network of vetted talent where we run them through training for 6 weeks, and we know these people will show up. Like, not everyone makes it to our network. Real spill. I absolutely love our network. It's some of the best killers in the market that are ready to onboard into these offers completely in-house and scale this thing. Know that they have the opportunity to scale within your company and build out your acquisition levers and curate your operating procedures at its core, right? That's what an A player looks like. And you need those people inside of your business. For us, we lean on our network. If not, you need to go find yourself A players, because this is going to be one of the bottlenecks that will arise, is that you don't have people you can as well depend on and lean on and trust to run through these procedures and operating procedures at its core. And even if you had someone low level, this is where the systems come back into place. If they had their real operating procedures dialed in down to the quality, like down to the lead that they need to hit for that day, to the opening message, to the positive conversational workflow, guys, I bet, and I put money on it because we've seen it across all the 20 plus funding companies and credit companies we work with. This will push you upstream, get you more qualified buyers, and position you in a way where you will collect more cash. All right, get you some A players. All right, and some of our results, if you haven't seen this, it's SaulnaDigital.com-funding. Right, some of our results that we've gotten from people that we've given this game plan to, implemented our systems, and they're all scaling extremely fast. All right, guys, as we start to conclude, I want to just preface one thing, guys. Upstream marketing, I know I keep harping on this, but it's really about setting the stage, creating a roadmap for sustained growth by transforming marketing into a proactive driver of business strategy rather than a reactive function, right? And that's what I mean by creating the feedback loops and dialing everything in. Your business is proactively gradually ascending you upstream so you can consistently do over 6 figures a month, like without honestly thinking too much when you have all the right systems and procedures in place. Okay, the outcome of this is high quality meetings booked on autopilot, continuous seamless scale, and as you refine inputs, you get your desired outputs. All right. Again, some of the people that are seeing this video have already booked a call, and we're going to do a deep dive into the systems that we are personalized for you. I'm sure you've already had the warm dial, and we're gonna dive in on our call. And if you haven't booked in, make sure you comment or DM game plan to us, and we'll give you a free personalized deep dive, the exact systems you need to implement now, some results from just a game plan. Right? If you go to Saulna Social Proof on YouTube, you can see all the video testimonies of people that we've helped in this space, as well as some of the written ones that are on our funnel. Like I said, Saulna.com-funding. And go ahead and comment or DM game plan if you haven't booked in. Guys, I hope this was valuable, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Peace.